So how scary is this Thunder team in a playoff series? As of right now, they'd be playing the Clippers in round 1. I would pick the Clippers, but I wouldn't be shocked if OKC pulled off an upset. I think they'd definitely give them a tough series. I think if they met the Jazz, Nuggets, or Rockets in round 1, things would get a little more interesting, with them potentially getting to round 2. The first thing to make note of is Chris Paul's been kind of nuts in fourth quarters. At least I'm going to assume that. I haven't actually looked at the numbers. For all I know, he actually isn't that great. But it just seems like there's been quite a few games where he's won a fourth quarter because of a whole bunch of pull-up mid-rangers. And this team's just full of veterans who can make shots, and Shea's getting better, and the steadiness of Steven Adams is always nice, assuming he holds up in a playoff series. Because Steven Adams was showing a little bit of decline last year, and he's bounced back since, but it's a long season, could happen again. I think the first thing to talk about with this Thunder team and how scary they are is how much you believe in Chris Paul in a playoff series. I think his playoff career it's an interesting one. I mean, he's definitely got the down spots, which are the being swept by the Spurs that first Clippers year. Then he's got pushing the Spurs to a Game 7 in his third year in the league with the Hornets. But then there's the collapse to the Rockets. But then there's the run that the Rockets went on 2 years ago before he got hurt. And a lot of people believe if he doesn't hurt his hamstring, the Rockets at least make the finals. Who knows if they beat the Cavs. So you can go a few different ways. And then there was that disappointing 6-game loss to OKC where CP had that really, really bad minute and a half, I believe it was. So, I don't know. I don't think he's a choke artist, but could he have been better in some instances? Yeah, probably. But he also had one other playoff run, which I believe was the last Clippers year, that was cut short because of injury as well. So even then it's it gets tough. And I think the potential reason for CP not carrying a team on some, let's say, Dirk-like playoff run would be if he's just not able to score a crap ton of points. I mean, CP he's as consistent and as efficient as they come, but sometimes you just need a dude to drop 30 instead of running a million picture-perfect screen and rolls all game, just pull up and shoot a 3 in a guy's face, you know what I mean? So, I don't know what all that means. I guess what I'm saying is if CP and the Thunder met the Clippers in round 1, right? Could Patrick Beverley hold him to 16-7 on very good efficiency when the Thunder really need him to score 23, 24 points? I guess it's possible. You could swap in a couple other defenders on the Clippers for that one. Utah doesn't have that one defender, but as a team, they're great. CP's also had a decent amount of success against Gobert, so there you go. Houston and the Thunder would be very interesting because it's small ball. Steven Adams, Gallo might be able to post up on someone. Then again, PJ Tucker and Covington are like brick walls down there. Harden and Eric Gordon as well. So I think there would be a lot of factors besides just CP killing the Rockets or potentially doing it, especially because the Rockets would probably switch a lot of the screens that the Thunder ran, and that could hold CP back because then he's forced to ISO against someone. And I don't know, does 30-something-year-old Chris Paul, 34-year-old Chris Paul have it in him to ISO possession after possession when, a defense is going to be leaving some dudes open? Now, granted, CP is going to make any pass you dare him to make, but it's not like this Thunder team is littered with shooters outside of Gallo. Now, SGA and Schroeder can make a shot and go off the dribble, but this team does give a lot of minutes to Terrence Ferguson and other dudes, and it's not like you can just run the Schroeder as the other guard lineup for the entire game. Also, there's still a fear that CP can't go 40-plus minutes, which sometimes you're going to need in the playoffs. So I guess those could be the things that would hold this team back. But even with all that being said, there is something to be said about a team that's tough, has timely shot making, and has either the smartest or maybe second smartest player in the league outside of LeBron. I mean, if we can go back to as it would be right now, Thunder Clippers round 1, safe to say CP is attacking Zubats as many times as possible in screens. He's probably going to do the same thing to Harrell, you know? I mean, CP is shooting over 50% from mid-range this year. So if you don't step up on anything against him, or you give him a little bit of space because you just got to defend him if he's going to go by you, if you're a big, he's going to make the shot, you know? I mean, we get all up in arms about mid-rangers not being as efficient as threes, but when you're that good for mid-range, it becomes a little different of a conversation. It's also possible the Thunder would meet the Nuggets in the first round. Similar to Zubats and Harrell, CP would definitely dare Jokic to play some defense. The Jokic-Steven Adams thing would be really interesting because while Jokic doesn't spend all his time at the three-point line, he spends more than never from out there. So Steven Adams might have to step up on that, and you know that opens up, of course, cutting lanes, and it'd be interesting to see how OKC would defend all of that stuff. So I think what I'm getting at with any of these series, because I mean the West, it is pretty close. I mean the difference between the 2 seed and the 5th seed is 3.5 games. So, and the difference between the Thunder and like the 4th seed is also 3.5 games. So the point being, who the hell knows what the playoffs are going to look like by the time the year's over. But I could certainly picture OKC pulling off a round 1 upset against anybody. I mean, even the Clippers. I wouldn't predict it, but if it happened, I wouldn't be shocked. I think I said that earlier. Could they pull off a round 2 upset? Would it even be an upset at that point? I don't know. Would it even be an upset if they won in round 1? I don't even know. But, you know, if the playoffs began today and they actually pulled off the round 1 victory over the Clippers, and then round 2 they would be meeting either the Nuggets or the Mavs. Now the Mavs just got Luka back, so their record's probably going to be better down the stretch. Like, do I think OKC could win that series against either one of those teams? Again, yes, I do. But of course, we don't know how the seedings are going to play out in the West. I really wish OKC would have gotten one more wing at the deadline. I don't think it would have cost too much, and I feel like they could have got somebody who they could have hung on to. I believe I did make a Covington suggestion using, I think it would have been this year's Nuggets pick, and maybe it wouldn't have been Covington, maybe somebody else, but I just think that would have been a nice move for them. Or if they could have got like Marvin Williams on a buyout. But I don't know. The Thunder are good. The playoffs are going to be really fun. I think we got a taste for them with that Celtics Clippers game and that Nuggets Thunder game. Not Nuggets, the Pelicans Thunder game right before the break. So, yeah.